Hello, hello everyone. So, this month's card of the month is the Tower. So, this is one of the most feared cards in the deck, right up there with the Death card. Um, and this card does have very intense energy, okay, very strong energy. This card is something that you can't ignore, right? A lot of the other cards, maybe they come up and we can ignore them for a long time, reading after reading after reading. When you pull the Tower for yourself, or whenever you receive a reading from someone and the Tower comes up, it's really hard to ignore. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and we will go over some of the imagery associated with this card. So go ahead and take a look at this card. If you also have this deck, please go ahead and pull that card out now and really take a look at the imagery here, okay? I want you to look at this and perhaps try to notice something that you have not ever noticed before, okay? For me, one of the things I never noticed before are all these little flames over here, right? And the flames up over here on this side as well. I mean, I feel like I've seen them before, but they are really coming into focus for me right now, okay? So once you have your thing, you can go ahead and leave that in the comments of this video and let me know what that thing is for you. And then we will get into the meaning and let's see how much of that jives with something that you are currently going through or just coming out of. So whenever I look at this card, one of the first things I notice is at the top we have a crown here, okay? So the crown can represent some sort of loss of power, okay, loss of control. Whenever I think about a crown, I think about a king or a queen, right? And when they lose their crown, that can be a symbol of losing some sort of control, okay? So, of course, with the black background, there's some sort of mystery, some sort of chaos, some sort of unknown energy, right, in the background of this card. These clouds here can represent some sort of negative event, something happening that is clouding our judgment, something that we cannot see our way through, some sort of confusion, okay? Now, this lightning bolt here, it's interesting to me that the lightning bolt is hitting the top of the tower where the crown has just come off, right? So it's almost like we are being struck in the head, something that we cannot ignore by this lightning bolt. And this lightning bolt can represent some sort of knowledge or information that is coming in, perhaps from the divine that is entering into our mind, something that we can't continue to look away from. We have to see it, and we have to see it now. So the flames that I discussed just a moment ago, there are actually 22 of these, okay? And these 22 flames represent the 22 major arcana cards, okay? So in a way, these flames kind of represent this travel through the major arcana, all of these influences that are happening, okay, to us. Because essentially, we are all the fool, right? Experiencing all these different life themes that come up in the major arcana. So with this tower, to me, these flames represent things that we can go through, okay? This tower moment can happen essentially after almost any card, okay? Anything that causes us to change, causes a sudden aha moment for us, an epiphany, if you will. That can happen after any of those cards and through the work in any of those cards, okay? Now, the rocks at the bottom can represent that there are going to be some hard times ahead. Something I do want to take note of is even though there are these people falling, right, and the tower is burning up top, look, the foundation stays solid. The tower is sitting on a solid foundation. So even whenever things are falling apart, we still have our core. We still have ourselves at the root of that, okay? So of course the tower is a symbol of hope and of power. So as the tower crumbles, it's almost like we are losing that hope. We are losing that power. Those things are being destroyed. The people that are falling represent this idea of being caught off guard of this, A lightning strike, usually we can't really plan for that, right? So whenever this lightning strike happens, these people are caught off guard and they are either they're flung from the window or they jump, right, to get out of the way, okay? So basic meanings for this card, of course, disaster, chaos, sudden upheaval, some sort of unexpected change happening, and it's usually something that we necessarily didn't plan for, but it's happening for us, okay? It's happening in this moment. We have no choice but to go with that change, at least for now, okay? Sometimes this can represent some sort of destruction or a disaster, an accident, something like that, okay? Now, reversed, it's a little different, okay? With reversed, it can suggest some sort of transformation. It can suggest surviving some sort of disaster, being able to move forward from some sort of disaster. It can represent a more personal transformation. If you're doing a lot of inner work and you pull this card reversed like this in a reading, I would definitely see that as a sign that you are on the right path. Even though it might not feel good, you're on the right path to this transformation. Now, one of the meanings that I stole from a mentor of mine is the tower can represent these lies that are falling away from our lives, okay? So even though the tower can feel very disruptive and very upsetting, I like to think of the tower as things that need to happen so that we will get out of our own way. I think too often we become stuck in a rut, okay? We become stuck, stagnant, and we don't know what to do. So sometimes the universe gives us a little nudge. Other times the universe gives us the tower moment, okay? So I want to show y'all a couple of other depictions of the tower. This is from the Light Seers Tarot deck. As you can see, the lightning is hitting this squirrel's little home, okay? But what I take note of here is that there are butterflies everywhere, okay? Butterflies always represent that transformation, right? Change, evolution, things like that. Okay, so even though this little squirrel is probably having a really bad time with the lightning hitting their home, they know that it is time to change. This is a sign of change for them. This card is from the Morgan Greer Tarot. I really like the depiction of this one here because it really brings in all of the elements, okay? And it's really important to understand that these tower moments really embody all of the elements all mixing together, okay? We have the fire up here, we have water down here, we have what looks like air here, okay? And then the earth is what the tower is built upon, okay? And built from, really. So even though these things are happening, this is all in this elemental kind of balance space. It's almost like a reset, okay? The tower can be seen as almost like a reset button. Most of us don't want to press that reset button, but it can be seen as a reset button. This is from the Fae Tarot. I really like the depiction here because we can see our little friend up here looking down. And this tower is upside down, right? The bricks are falling from below. But this person does not really seem too alarmed. It's like this person is almost embracing this time, embracing this change that's happening to them. Some common correspondences associated with this card include the element of fire. Obviously, that makes sense, right? The planet that it is related to is Mars. As far as chakras go, it is related to the solar plexus, the root, and the color red, okay, which makes sense as well. Crystals for this card include rubies, bloodstones, any kind of red stone could be associated with this card. And then body parts would be the blood, muscles, adrenal glands, things like that. Some god and goddess correspondences, any kind of god or goddess that is associated with some sort of destruction. So, of course, Mars, Aries, Shiva, the Morgan, Kali, as well as Hell. Okay, so what I do want to chat for a moment about is the Fool's Journey, okay, to really add some perspective to this card. So essentially, you know, if you've been following me for a while, you already know what I'm going to say. We are all the fool, okay? We are all the fool, making our way through all of these major arcana cards, figuring out our life, figuring out our next steps, things like that. So the card that comes before the tower is the Devil. So with the Devil, I always think about some sort of addiction, some sort of obsession, feeling stuck or in bondage to something or someone, a situation, a person, even a job, something like that, right? Being stuck with someone or something, being obsessed with someone or something, right? And usually these are unhealthy situations, okay? The devil might feel really good, okay? Like the devil feels good at the moment, right? But it's not good for us. Usually it is causing some sort of harm to us, even if we can't see it right away, okay? So with that devil Sometimes we don't know when we're supposed to get out of that situation, right? Sometimes we don't know what's best for us. So in comes the tower after the devil, almost like a wake-up call, okay? You know, in the Kabbalist belief system that is associated with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the symbolism for the tower is associated with Peh. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but P-E-H, and it is with the mouth. With that, that is a suggestion to wake up, okay? It's a painful wake up. Don't get me wrong. It's gonna fucking hurt, okay? But it's still a wake-up call. And that's the energy of the tower here. It's like if we don't be shaken by someone, right? It's like someone's shaking us, telling us to wake up. If we are not shaken like that, we're not going to wake up. We're going to stay stuck in the same old bullshit that we've been doing to ourselves for so long. So instead of staying stuck in this devil perspective, we are being encouraged to wake up with the tower moment. So even though it feels horrible, even though it's very chaotic and painful, and we'll be crying and yelling and upset, and it feels like the rug is being ripped out from underneath our feet, in a way, it is exactly what we need. And I know that sounds weird to say, but sometimes we need that wake-up call, or else we'll just stay stuck. And the cool thing about the tower is after the tower comes the star. And the star is where we find our hope again. At some point, everything has to come crumbling down. Everything must be destroyed in order for us to rebuild what we truly want. I feel like this card is very timely for this full moon that we are experiencing right now, okay? So if you haven't already done your full moon ritual, I'm going to encourage you to really figure out what is stopping you. What is your devil right now? What is your devil that is not allowing you to move forward? What is that devil that is trying to keep you stuck, keep you in that obsession, ruthless, hurtful, harmful space, okay? And whatever that devil is, I want you to release that with this full moon. Because essentially, the tower is coming. The tower moment is coming. And you can sort of prevent it. You can at least help it along. I'm not going to say prevent. Prevent isn't the right word. But you can try to help it along by being prepared for it. So figure out what that devil is. Become ready to release it, and release it with the full moon, okay? Because that tower moment is going to happen for your benefit, even though it doesn't feel like it, okay? It's going to happen for you so that you can rebuild upon that solid foundation. Because again, there is a solid foundation here upon which you can build. You will not lose who you are. You will not lose your soul, your actual self, your inner witch. She's still there. They are still inside you, okay? But what you're being asked to do is to essentially start over, okay? So, what are some things that you feel ready to start over on now? How can you almost welcome in this personal transformation energy for your own benefit? Also, I want you to think about a past moment in your life where you feel like that was a tower moment for you. What led you to that place? What led you to the edge of that tower? What led you to jump from that burning building? Okay. What led you to that space? And where are you now? How has your life improved or changed because of that moment, because of that terrible, painful experience, because of all that chaos? How has your life progressed and become better? Okay. So I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. This one is really kind of heavy, but it's also really needed, okay? Like I said, if we don't have the tower moment, a lot of times we won't be ready to move forward. And we all need to become ready to move forward because it's time to let go of these old selves that we're carrying with us, these devils that we keep with us, okay? We need to let them go, set them free, and truly build upon the foundation of what we truly want, okay? So I will see y'all next time. Y'all have a great rest of your day, and let me know if you have any questions or comments or anything like that. Okay, bye. Bye, y'all.